everyone. We are here for the press conference after match number 7 of the 2023 U Sports Men's Volleyball Championship Semifinal number 1 between the Trinity Western Spartans and the home team McMaster Marauders. The win goes in 4 sets, 3-1 to the Trinity Western Spartans. And first and foremost, guys, how do you feel after taking that one? That was quite an atmosphere.
I'm speechless. That was awesome. I am still trying to kind of gather what just happened. I'm super proud of us. I don't think there was a single moment where we gave up. I don't think there was a single point where we weren't trying to do everything, to execute everything to the best of our ability. So, yeah, I thought that was awesome.
Just you guys saw you were really emotional, which was your girlfriend maybe in the stands or their family, I'm not sure.
Yeah, girlfriend.
It seems like this game means a lot to you right now.
Yeah. I'm just trying to soak everything in, being this my last year, and I wanted to. One thing I said before is we want to have no regrets. We want to come out of this game have no regrets, and I think every single person on that floor gave them everything they had, and including myself. I was pretty proud of myself for that performance, and I was just kind of,
How much of it was weathering that first set? You know, obviously, Adam, you've been here before as a player, but you know, weathering the crowd in the first set, just getting through that, and then regrouping to go to the second and beyond.
Yeah, well, I think this is probably the best we ever played in the first set. I think usually we get kicked in the face pretty good in that first set, and then we just got it's a big climb. So I thought the guys who played in this atmosphere before, so Jesse, I guess the only one, had some awesome perspective before the game, just kind of giving the guys some insight about what it's like playing in an environment this tough. So I felt like Jesse did an amazing job in our pregame meeting, just putting the guys in, giving the guys perspective about kind of how intense it'll be. And I thought Jesse's leadership there really prepared us to be in the game from the start. Although we didn't win the first set, I actually thought we played quite well, even though we didn't win it. So it wasn't so much weather in the storm. I thought we actually came out to play. We just didn't close out the set.
Yeah, a lot of that match just felt like we were trading shots at each other. You know, like Rocky Balboa and Ivan Drago from Rocky IV, like just taking shot after shot from one another. And I'm really proud of the way our team handled those moments, you know, because like a spiker like Sam Cooper is going to make untouchable shots. But when you move on from it quickly and we just say, okay, we'll do some of that on our own too, it's way easier to play rather than, you know, getting stuck up on crazy plays that are hard to stop.
And then Michael from 49 Sports, just follow up on what your coach mentioned about what you told the team kind of before the game. I mean, if you don't mind sharing kind of what did you kind of tell them about kind of to prepare them for the atmosphere of the game?
It was a long time ago now. I'm just kidding. I told them a story. So in my first year, Adam's 5th year, exact same game, semifinal, national semifinal against Mac in Mac, and we were down 16-14 in the first set, and I had 7 of their points, and just the environment was so all-encompassing and so scary as a first year. But I just told them, like, you got to stick with it. We got to trust each other. I told them, everyone in this room, trust each other, and you got to trust yourself as much as the person next to you trusts you. And I knew that first set was going to be crazy, and we were just kind of keep going. Brody was like, the blocks are going to come. And Corey kind of struggled at the beginning, and then he won that set for us. Him and Slam, 2 young guys. I thought our liberos played great. All those young guys stepped up to the plate and absolutely, took it off the chin.
And then just to follow up on this for any of you who can answer that, you mentioned in terms of the sticking with it aspect. Which is you kind of, you know, Mike, I shared there's certain kind of moments tonight that really stood out in terms of that.
Sorry, what moment?
Like in terms of just what Jesse was saying about the kind of sticking with it kind of thing. Were there kind of moments tonight kind of thing certain moments that really kind of stood out in terms of that?
I would say it was in the serving and high ball phase. We were serving really aggressive. I thought that first set they converted on all of those high ball swings. So they were taking a lot of risk, and they were spiking at a really, really efficient level in situations where it's really hard because you don't really have the advantage to earn a kill. So I'd say it came from the serving standpoint. We got to still be aggressive with their serve. At one point, they'll come back down to earth. They're awesome players, but spiking high balls all night long is really, really difficult. So they were really efficient early on. So I think it was sticking with it in the serve phase, was still being aggressive and earning those knockouts, and then sticking with it with our block stability as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say really agree with Adam about I felt it in the spiking phase. Early in the match, they were hitting awesome shots, but I felt like we were getting block touches on all of them, or they're going through our hands. And as the match goes on, you start to lose some of your spike touch. You're going to get lower. And that's why I kept saying, like, stick with it. The blocks will come. And sure enough, they did at the end of the match when it's the hardest to score. We were able to pull out with a few blocks.
About to say, following on that crowd noise and energy, it seemed like we were able to energize yourself from that crowd. It seemed like you liked the noise, and we saw that, especially going back to the McMaster timeout. We were able to just serve 2 aces right off the bat. It seemed like you kind of liked to work inside that part.
Yeah, I love the noise. I think it really helps me stay out of my own head. And sometimes I'm really tired, and when a crowd like that is all cheering with however 2,500 people, however many people are here tonight, it definitely gives me some energy, and yeah, I love it.
Brody, I saw you more than a few occasions just be really hyped for your teammates scoring. How important for you, like in those moments, just to help share that energy amongst you guys?
Yeah, it was a really hard match for me personally. I felt like there was a lot of load at certain points throughout the match, and I was just so happy to see guys like Jesse and Henry really step up in huge moments and score. And it's tough in an away team's gym when you make sweet plays. Sometimes it's like, whoa, that's really quiet. So I just wanted to make sure that guys knew how cool it was, and if I lose a bit of energy so they know it's awesome, then it's worth it.
As a team, if you could talk a little bit about Corey Schroeder's game. I had a little bit of the service line, but I want to talk about the ending of the game where he became super strong and super tall at the line, at the limit at the net. He was able to block a lot of balls. How happy was that been, and how happy were you with the team to see him succeed?
I think with Corey, what's unique about him is he does such an amazing job of just processing information as the game goes on. And it always seems like late in a set, he always gets one of those key plays because he's just gathering information on the opponent's setter, on their blockers, all their patterns, all their tempos, everything. And then late in the sets, he always seems to make that play. So I think that speaks of, like the student of the game Corey is, right? And I guarantee you he's watched film on these guys all year. And he watched more film than anyone last night. Actually, maybe not these two. But,
I think Corey.
yeah, maybe Corey. But I think that just speaks to the student of the game he is and how how his ability to process information, even through the high-stress situation of an intense match like that.
And what about the performance of Matthias at the center level? I mean, he was doing it all early in the set, killing balls, digging, doing aces. He was jack of all trades today.
Yeah, I always look to Tias in matches he's so wise for someone his age, and he just always says something that I'm like, wow, that is exactly what I'm feeling right now. And so he's just that really steady force on the court that I lean on. And then we all know how awesome he is as a volleyball player as well.
Jesse touched on just Ansel coming to the service line. Like, just talk about how important that was and having a player be able to come off the bench and do that.
What he did in that environment that's not human. Like, that's insane. I was so proud of him. I was like losing my mind for him, and like obviously Brody's the MVP, but he's the next MVP. Like, and he's been doing it. It's not a fluke. He's been doing it for the last 4, 5, 6 weeks. Like, yeah, that is. It's incredible.
And was it normal to see him not celebrate with you guys and just go back to the service line?
Well, he's German, so.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we were saying. Like,
Yeah.
the crowds in Europe
Yeah.
that's his home. Like, he just thrives in that.
And I also love it because he's on the court to rip aces and get knockouts for us. So if he wants to run around and get hyped, I'm all for it. Like, I don't usually like to come into the circle when I'm serving either. I think the most important thing I can do for my team right now is to put in good serves, and I'll just do whatever I have to for that. And Slam definitely did that today.
One of my favorite parts with Ansem is he knows exactly in the rotation where in the set when we're going to serve sub him. So every time and that time comes around and Corey gets back to the front row, I go to look to Ansem and he's already looking at me like giving me the nod, like he's ready. So it just speaks that he's just such a gamer and he's ready to play. And one of our core mantras is do your job, and I thought he was the perfect example tonight. His job is to come off the bench and serve the crap out of the ball, and he did that perfectly at the biggest stage.
And then, Jesse, just to follow up, when you mentioned this being your last year, just in terms of for you and I guess for the other graduating seniors kind of thing, like, what would it mean to kind of end off your career with the national championship?
Yeah, well, it's also Brody's the other fifth year, so we're 2 fifth years, or last year's. I mean, it's always the goal. That's always when we come in August, whatever, 27th. That's always the goal. The roadmap always leads to this game. When I played the last game of the last tournament, yeah, obviously it's the way I want to go out. Yeah, I think I'll leave it there.
I mean, I'm just always, like, this year I was reminded of how hard it is to get here. And so to finally be here after being focused on, regular season and then Canada West and then the quarterfinals and nationals, but wait, you have to go through another amazing team in the semifinals. To be here it's a huge relief to have the opportunity to play in this final game.
I think when you were asking about when I was hugging my girlfriend, I think that's the feeling I had. Just like all the work we put in, all the meetings, all the reps, all the lifts, everything. Finally, there was something to come out of that. And I think that was the feeling that I was experiencing now hearing Brody say that.
With the crowd being on McMaster, was that one of the hardest challenges in your life as players?
The noise, you mean?
You have to play in that environment and that hard game in front of a really physical team that came prepared to play.
Yeah. Well, I think in terms of the noise, like we had that last weekend in Alberta, and we didn't play our best, but we learned a ton from it, and I thought that was a testament to everyone learning and moving on. Learn from the game, move on, and apply it next time and gain that experience. Like we talked about a few days ago. The young guys have that experience of playing in those gyms, and now this kind of feels like just another game. So I'm glad we had the experience last week.
Can I turn that question? You guys were all smiling like you were so pumped before the game, like it was almost eerie how excited you guys were to play. Like it was exciting. It felt like you guys were ready, like loved playing in that. That's what Trinity does. Won a lot of a lot of big games on opposition courts. Is that correct?
Yeah, I really do love to play in those environments. Like, watching the game yesterday against Sask, I really wanted Mac to pull it out so that we could play in an environment like this. Like, we're a university league. We don't have crowds like this that often. I mean, we have great fans, the Spartan Faithful, but we don't pull out 3,000 people every weekend. So this is just like so good. It's so much fun.
Can I say something quick? I remember having a conversation with Brody. It felt like it was a few months ago, and I felt like we had a long way in our season to go. And Brody's like, "I want to play Mac and Mac," and I was like, "Man, we got to get there first." So we got a long way to go. But I think that just speaks to how ready they were. They've been thinking about this game for a long time, and that's been on their calendar. And they wanted to play in Mac, and I think that's why they were ready.
And then, I mean, you guys have been in championship finals before, won championship finals before. Curious, ahead of 12, we talked about earlier with Jesse, kind of what you pulled the team for today's game. Curious for each of you, what will kind of be the advice or the words, kind of, if you don't mention, kind of that you'll kind of tell the team, I guess, or tell your teammates ahead of tomorrow, I guess. Is there any?
I think what will be clear for our guys is this tournament's played in March, but it's won September through February. And I think that just goes back to we got to trust our training. And if you're in this match, that means you've earned the right to be there based on the body of work that you put together in the last 7 months. So I think it'll be a continued message of you're in this game for a reason and you've earned the right to be here. And that's what I'll share with those guys.
Real quick, back to that playing Mac at Mac. That's a 5th straight 3-1 win for Trinity Western over McMaster at the national championships, right? Where do you think, Pat and Adam, where do you think that ranks in terms of the win against this? Like, this is now becoming one of the most storied rivalries within U Sports, two of the best going at it. Where do you think that ranks for you in terms of wins against this club?
It's up there because we don't see them. We only see them in the national tournament. So whenever we play MAC, it's always at the highest stakes. So we got all these awesome rivalries with Alberta and UBC. Like UBC's a regional rivalry, that's awesome. But we play them twice a year, and we always play them in exhibition, and there's just way more kind of other matches behind it. And so I guess the intensity and the meaning of those regional ones can get, I guess, lost. But with these guys, it just means so much because we only see them once a year. So it feels like every time we play them, the game gets bigger and bigger. So the next one is the one that always means more. So we thought the last one we had was a big deal. I think this one was even bigger. It seems like every time we play them, it's a bigger deal. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Does it make it even more special that this will be the last time that Dave Preston is leading that team? Is that something that you're cognizant of while you're out there?
Yeah, I mean, I've been a coach for 1 year.
Not even.
Not even. And just knowing how hard it is to get to this tournament and playing these games and have a team to play that well, and he's done it every year. And I don't know Dave well, but I have so much respect for him and how well his team plays at this time of year. Over, I don't know how long he's been there, 22, 21 years? It is 22? Yeah, I don't know Dave well, but I have so much respect for him and the program he built and the sustained success he's had.
How hard will it be for you guys to catch up sleep tonight? Because if you were excited months ago already about this game against Mac at Mac, I know you'll be able to sleep,
Yeah.
or you're already too excited for tomorrow.
I mean, I didn't sleep much last night. Tonight will probably take me a little while to fall asleep as well. Yeah. But hopefully when I'm asleep, I'll stay asleep the whole night.
Doesn't really matter who wins this next game. We'll be playing a team in green and gold.
Yeah.
Right?
That's funny.
I know what I'm talking about here.
Good color recognition.
Yes. Color theory is good. But you know, those are two very intense teams out there. What are you guys gonna have to do to get ready for? You know, I'm sure this next semifinal match is going to be just as hardly fought, if not harder, as yours. So what are you guys going to have to do to get ready for that one? And for you two, a little bit of redemption in the national final and an opportunity to close off your careers on the highest of notes.
So the question is, what do we have to do to get ready? I mean, I think the finals and important games like we just played are usually not about volleyball. I think it's a lot about what Jesse talked about with trusting your teammates. And I think getting ready for this tournament or for this final will be reminding this team about how much trust and relationship building we've done this year. And that, I believe, will carry us throughout this match, no matter how good the other opponent is playing or how poorly we're playing. So.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think, like I told the team before this game, you're going to experience thoughts and emotions and feelings that you've never had before and you didn't know existed. But you have to have confidence that you didn't forget how to play volleyball overnight. Like, as much as it feels like that, you did not forget how to play volleyball and to weather the storm, and the volleyball will come. Whether it feels like it or not, it will come. And you focus on the little things like the communication, the free ball passing, the high ball setting, the big things happen. I thought that was exactly what we did tonight. We were kind of chasing our tail a little bit. We pulled the balls off the net. We set some high balls, and the big stuff started happening. We got the blocks, we got the aces, we got the big stuff. So when we rely on our foundation, and our foundation isn't just volleyball, like Cody said, it's relationships and problem solving and stuff like that. I think we'll be in a good spot and a good sleep, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of what we said before the game. Is if we're connecting at a high level, like in between points, and we're dialed in on the details, then our higher level volleyball things will be in a much better spot. So it's just kind of a accumulation of little things to get us to the spot.
Now, to wrap it up, Adam, I don't know this for certain, but I'm a hazard to guess at, well under 30 years of age, you're going to be the youngest head coach to attain a national final in volleyball. Is that something that you set out to do at the beginning of the year, and how does that make you feel?
I think that's why these guys are here. You want to be at Trinity Western to playing games like tomorrow. And it's not something we talk about, but everything we do is designed to get back to this game. So I think if you're a member of our program, that's always the goal. It's not really talked about, it's just that's the standard. So I don't know if that's something I set apart, but as being with this program for 10 years, that's always been the goal. Whether you're a player or a coach or support staff, whatever it may be, that's the goal.
Okay, quickly on that same idea, but was it 8? Is it 8 straight years in the national final now? Or 7? I should know that. Some of you guys should know that. Like, that's a
2014 was the last time.
That's a ridiculous run.
Yeah.
Just maybe a quick comment on just, I don't know, one person or whatever, on the program of what's, like how consistently what happen every year.
Yeah, I think that's awesome, but what needs to be clear is this team's the 8th, and this is the team. This is the team that got the 8th there, and that's what's most important. Is these guys got to the national championship again, and we know that we're standing on the shoulders of giants of all the awesome people who've been at this program before. But what can't get lost is these two guys and their 15 teammates are the 8th.
Awesome. Thank you very much, guys. Congratulations on the win, and best of luck in the finals tomorrow.
Thank you.